Tyrone. I just gotta get freaky for you because you love the hoes.
You are not.
What's good? What's good? What is popping, everybody? Thank you for chiming on in to the live stream today. I know we done changed it up a little bit. I wanted to add a little pizzazz, you know what I'm saying, as you was waiting for me to get ready and all that other good stuff. So I hope everybody been having a good weekend. Hope everybody been having a good day. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody been getting their life together. You know what I'm saying? Becoming the personal adversary for your life, becoming the person to stand out from the crowd and being the person that you need to be in your own personal life to achieve everything that you ever want to achieve in life. So, for the people coming on in, or if you're rewatching this, make sure that you hit that like button for me real quick. All right, don't take much. All right, just a little thumbs up. All right, that's all I'm asking. you know, that's all. Just help a brother out. All right, just hit the like button for me real quick. But I appreciate everybody who's been supporting me, my content. I've been posting every day. I've been as consistent as possible, and I'm trying to balance it out because for those who don't know, I am a remote video editor and I do content creating. So, I've been scheduling out my content and stuff like that. Today was pretty much of a chill day. You know, um, I take Wednesdays and Sundays as my days off and stuff like that, or most of my light days. So it takes a lot in me. Like one of my friends, they be telling me like, Tyron, it's okay to rest, but sometimes I just feel like I can't rest. I can't stop. I have to like keep achieving. I have to keep going every single day. But I do making an effort to schedule out content and post every day possible, to get that content out. It doesn't matter what anybody tries to tell me, if something is on my heart, if it's on my spirit to put it out there, I will put it out there. Anything that I put out there and it's not working, I have to readjust, you know what I'm saying? I have to reassemble all that good stuff. But I want to make this live stream for those who are currently deconstructing, people who have their questions and their doubts about religion, Christianity, Jesus, whatever the case may be, people who are just curious, you know. And of course, if you was raised in the church, if you was raised in a church or Christian household, yeah, you ain't supposed to be doing that. You ain't supposed to be curious. All right, because that's where the devil is, and the devil wants you to be curious. He wants you to ask questions because he wants you to stop believing. If you stop believing, then you're gonna go to hell. And that's how I was raised up. I wasn't, I was raised up not to question God. I was raised up not to question my beliefs, because if I was to even entertain the thoughts of what if what I'm believing in is wrong, I am basically entertaining the devil and entertaining Satan, and that means that I'm being led astray, and all these different things that Christians will do and say to try and, you know, disregard the truth or try and hinder your growth. It's very disheartening to see, and that is something that I've personally been through, and I want to dedicate my platform and my channel and my influence to help those out there, just to give you a shortcut. Because for me, I had to figure this out on my own. It took me from 2017 to 2020 to finally understand the true meaning of spirituality, or I won't even say that, maybe from 2017 to 2022, you know, and I want to give people a shortcut. I want people to not have to go through all these different religions and, go through hundreds of phases in order for them to finally find themselves. I want them to find themselves at the door. All right. I want you to find yourself at the door. And a lot of people feel like that they have to find a certain, spirituality. They feel like they have to find a certain religion. They feel like they have to find a costume. They have to find a certain something that's already been pre-made, a certain template that's already been pre-made, and they have to try and fit in it. And anytime that they try to fit in that box, it just never works out for them. You know, they're a triangle trying to fit into a square. They're a circle trying to fit into an octagon, and it just never works out for them. And the true perception of spirituality is just to be. It's not for you to embody or try to become or to convert yourself to any other god or any other religion. And that might sound, you know, bizarre. It might sound demonic. It might sound like heresy, blasphemy, whatever the case may be. But really just entertain the thought for a second. You have been conditioned and programmed into believing in a certain God. You have been programmed and conditioned into a religion, you know, and you've been conditioned and programmed to seeing life in a certain way and to interpret life in a certain way. And so, because of that, you may be the only person to give your life to Christ, and everybody else in your world is wrong. But, I was listening to this man on, I think it was a Nigerian podcast, and he was talking about the beauty of the original African practices, the practices of our ancestors or my ancestors. And he was talking about how, like, if you can't find God in nature, then your God doesn't exist. And I just thought that was just so profound, because he's basically saying that if you can't find your God in nature, like if you can't find his name on a plant, if you can't find their name in the ground, or you know what I'm saying, if you can't find your God in different aspects of this world in nature alone, then your God is just your personal, lens. It's just your personal perspective, and I'm just paraphrasing what he was saying, but that is so true. You won't find Jesus in the forest. You won't find Yahweh on the rocks. You know, of course, there are different ways for you to analyze yourself and analyze and break certain things down metaphysically and cosmetically and astrologically. You'll see these different stories and all these ancient entities and deities of multiple messianic and Christ figures and all these different things, from the zodiac signs and all these different matters. All the gods, as Joseph Campbell said, all the gods and goddesses, all the heavens and hells exist within you. And all the stories that you've ever been told about, religion and about the gods exist in the stars, and they exist within you first and foremost. So before there was even a Jesus, before there was even a Bible, before there was even a Yahweh or Hebrew or Muslim or Islam or Judaism, there was just you. So that's something that I love to bring out for people, for them to get a bigger understanding of their spirituality and their religion. And it's just very complicated for a lot of them to really grasp onto that, because they had never been given that perspective before. And I remember when I was going to school, in Atlanta, and that was just such a very profound concept for me to truly find out about, because when I first went to Atlanta for school, I was like in my Hebrew Israelite phase. Terrible. I'll go through the story at a different day. But I was like a metaphysical Hebrew Israelite. Like, I didn't take the Bible as like a historical document, but I believe, like, okay, there's prophecies and this might be our people and this and that, right? And I was taking a critical thinking class, and the teacher was like, if you go to this certain philosophy lecture, you will get an extra 2 points on your final grade. And I'm like, yeah, I'm taking that. I am definitely taking them extra 2 points. You know, what's good, Chris? But went to the lecture, and it was this Hindu woman talking about her time in India and about Gandhi and the different times that were going on when she was growing up, you know, and she was just talking on and on and on. Like, she's just saying stuff, and I'm just keeping little pinpoints on things that she was saying so that I'll have something to write down, for my essay. But she said something that was just so profound. And she was writing on the board, and she was talking about the Vedas, and she was like, in the Vedas it says that the truth is one, but the wise call it by many different names. And I've never heard that before a day in my life. It like, my mind just opened up, like there was like a spark. I was like, wow, I've never heard that before. I've never thought of it that way. I've like when I was a Christian, I used to hear how people would try and be like, oh, all the religions are the same, or all the different gods and things, everything's the same. And I've heard that before when I was a very fervent, faithful Christian. But the thing is that it didn't make sense to me, because you can't just really say a vague statement like that without any type of breakdown or understanding, right? So because nobody broke it down, I just left it at that. But excuse me, I just started yawning. But when I heard that, and I was hearing how the truth is one, but the wise call it many different names, that was just a statement that I never heard it worded that way before. You know, that truth is one, it's eternal, it's whole, but it has many different ways of expression. It has many different faces. It has many different archetypes. It has many different, ways of style, of color, of genre. So when I started to study this perception in the Vedas, I was looking on these different articles and websites, and it led me to omniism. And when I found omniism, I found the it factor. Like, I found what truly resonated with me for the rest of my life. And that's how I became the omnious drone. And that's when I rebranded myself. And so that's what my brand is about, is that I want to get you to a point of understanding that everything in life is perspective. But on top of that, everything in life is an expression. And everything that you see in life is an expression of the eternal, of the one, the infinite, the truth, the supreme consciousness. And so when you understand that, when you grasp onto that, everything else will make sense. When you can go to a record store and see all the different genres of music, that is truth. When you go to the candy shop, and you see all these different types of candy and all these different types of treats, that is truth. When you go to the store and you see all these different types of clothes and all these different types of styles and fashion, that is truth. When you go to the bookstore, Barnes and Nobles, and you see all these different genres of books and all these different, things that you can read and grasp onto, that is truth. And so you have to understand that truth has many different faces. You have to understand that the way that people interpret truth, the way that people see the truth, is very, very different. You know, everybody doesn't see truth in the same way that you do, and that's okay. That's why life is perspective, as Kendrick Lamar said, you know? And when you truly can grasp onto that understanding that life is just perspective, that just because you like rock music and I like jazz music, that doesn't mean either of us is wrong. We're just in tune on in a different way, you know? So if I'm a Hindu and you a Buddhist, or if I'm a Christian and you a Jew, it shouldn't make any difference, because we're in tune to the same truth. We just have different ways of expressing it, or expressing it. We just have different ways of expression. Where things get foggy and where things get blurred is when your ego feels like it has to make a point. That's where things get blurred. When things get foggy, when people can't understand what you're saying, when you have to make doctrines in order for you to benefit, or rather, like, I guess, like, to make an excuse for how you live your life. That's where things get blurred, when you go around telling people you have to submit to how I see God, or you're a bad person. You have to submit to how I worship God, or you're a bad person. You have to submit to my book about my God, or else you're a bad person. It's that perception. Is when you let the ego take place and you let the ego take control, that things get blurred and things get corrupted, things get contaminated, and things get distorted. So when people go around talking about their Jesus, I speak against their Jesus. I do not speak against the Christ. And that's where people get misconstrued. People get so held down and hell bent, over me talking about Christianity. And I'm just strictly talking about the religion. I mean, I am not talking about the person JC. I'm not talking about Jesus. I rock with Jesus. Jesus is an OG, you know, mystically and metaphorically, and allegorically. When you break down the story of Jesus, you are dealing with yourself at the end of the day, you know, and you have to get rid of the Jesus that they gave you to become the Christ. You know, I believe that if Jesus was a real person, he would not be satisfied with the way that the church runs itself today. At this point, he would just throw everything away at this point, bro. Because I gave y'all a little bit of substance about the kingdom. If y'all turn it into something that wasn't even supposed to be in the first place. You thought he was causing hell when he was going through the temples. I mean, this man would be burning down churches. You know what I mean? But I say all of that to say that when it comes to your Christianity, when it comes to your Bible, it is just one aspect and one aspect alone. You can't interpret the universe and the world itself through that just one lens. It is just not possible. It's just not. It doesn't hold substance. It holds very little substance, for that matter. But I want to go over a few questions with you. I want to go over a few questions with you on the basis of just to help you if you are going through your personal journey, if you are going through certain things in life and you don't really know how to coordinate your life. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to be the person that can help you on your personal path, your personal journey. And so I have these questions basically just for me to answer, and then you can answer them on your own personal time, and you can come to your own decisions and stuff like that. So we're going to be dealing with just 10 simple questions, and I titled this live stream why I chose truth over fear is because I had to be real with myself. I had to be real about who I was truly giving my power to. And a lot of people can't be truly real about who they are worshiping. And that's a very scary thing. It's a scary thing when you as a person can't acknowledge that you are worshiping something that is not even supposed to be a part of you. You're worshiping an entity that was made to control you. You're worshiping and you're calling upon an entity that was created to make you subservient. And you never truly find your true divinity as long as you keep glazing another nigga. You will never find true divinity glazing up on another man. It's not about serving or worshiping Christ. It's about becoming one. It's about becoming the Christ. So I'm going to be dealing with these 10 questions here. And the first question, if I can, hold on. Okay. The first question is, who are you without your beliefs? So let's deal with that one first. And this might be a bit of a struggle question for some people when it comes to the basis of this conversation. But without my belief system, right? Without my personal, emphasis on life, without my personal perspectives on life, I am just me. And I think that's truly what divinity is supposed to be. Is for you to just be you. I made a reel a few weeks ago about how the true meaning of God, the number one way for us to know that we are connected with God and that we are one with God is that we want to connect with other people. I think that's the true perspective, other than us being creators, is that we want to relate to one another. We want to connect with one another. Otherwise, why would social media be such a, you know, such a popular thing right now is because we want to socialize, we want to connect with other people, you know? And I think that's truly what it means for you to be without your belief. Your belief system is really just a persona, it's a mask, something that you have decorated in order for you to, I guess you could say express yourself, but it's not really you, if that makes sense. So it's like, who are you without your foundation? Who are you without your kingdom? Are you still a king without your kingdom? And I would personally say that I can still be me. I can still live my life how I want to live. And I don't have to bring up my personal perspective, my personal outlook on spirituality. I was having a conversation with this beautiful black woman, and I just wanted to have conversation with her, and she's just blowing up my DMs with like all these scriptures and Jesus loves you and you need to repent and look at this scripture and look at this video and look at this scripture. I'm like, ma'am, I just let's talk. Let's get to know one another. You know what I mean? Like, and she can't. Well, I think she says she's 21. And I know how I was when I was 20 and 21, but like you can't. I understand some people, they be fired up for God, fired up for Jesus, right? But there's so much more to life. You know what I'm saying? Like this, you don't just open up to somebody in that manner, in that way about Jesus. And I would know because I used to be a very Bible thumping, Jesus loving boy. So like I know what it's like to come at somebody with, I'm talking about very, very assertive when it comes to Jesus. Beautiful, beautiful black woman. And she just comment, and I'm just like, damn, can I get to know your name? But yeah, like essentially that's what you have to be without your belief system. You have to be foundational in your personality and how you connect with other people, how you can see other people's perspectives, you know, finding ways to connect with other people and laying aside your ego, laying aside your um perspectives and belief systems and all these different things. The second one is your spirituality rooted in fear or freedom? Now this is very profound, right? Because when it comes to your spirituality, it is literally just you in the spirit. And people have made spirituality so spooky. The word in itself, they have made the whole perspective around spirituality so spooky that even using the word spiritual is almost as using the word religious, you know, is almost as using the word Christian. It's almost as using the word Muslim. And like, I remember when NLE Choppa came out with a music video about sexy, like with Sexy Red and Sukihana. And the spiritual community was the number one people to just downgrade this man, right? Now, mind you, I I made content saying like NLE Choppa isn't spiritual because he was following a trend, right? I'm not saying that he can't be spiritual. At the end of the day, everybody is spiritual because we are all spirits in a body. So everything that we do in this world, we are following a certain routine, a certain ritual in the spirit. So at the end of the day, everybody is spiritual. There is no type of way of looking spiritual or being spiritual. At that point, when you try to fashion and style you know, spirituality and say this is how you be, this is how you be spiritual, you're creating a religion at that point. But I was having this conversation and I'm like, what is spirituality supposed to look like? What does it mean to look spiritual, to be spiritual? I was coming at him, back in like 2020, 2021, because he's over here talking about the third eye and popping crystals and talking about the pineal gland and getting their superpowers on the winter solstice. I mean, these Negroes didn't even know what a winter solstice was. They thought they were going to power up like Power Rangers. I'm not going to rant about that today, but I really crashed out on December 21st in 2021. I made fun of them Negroids. But spirituality is supposed to be rooted in freedom. Your spirituality is supposed to be rooted in you just truly being yourself. And some people feel like that they have to lay down, limitations or restrictions on who they can be. Whoa. I could have sworn. I apologize, y'all. That was not supposed to happen. Um Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Well, let me text my friend and tell her I could have sworn I put my laptop on do not disturb. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. I believe y'all still can. But spirituality is not supposed to be looking religious, not supposed to be a way of like you supposed to be this way or that way, you know. But spirituality is supposed to be you being yourself. So how you condition and coordinate your life is supposed to be for you. And in the way in which you live for your life and live your life is supposed to be in liberation of your spirit, in liberation of who you are, in liberation of, shedding away past trauma, shedding away your grievances and shedding away your shame and your guilt, where you lived in a certain time or you lived in a certain environment or you lived in a certain household where you had to suppress who you were. You had to suppress your personality, you had to suppress your thoughts and your feelings and how you even conducted yourself. And spirituality is supposed to be that open gateway for you to be yourself, not just feel like you're a good goody two shoe, holy and righteous person because you read your Bible, or I don't have as much sex as I need to. Which is another thing, the suppression and restriction that people have on sex is completely astounding. Because it's like people want to act like they don't like sex as much as they do. So then they try to find ways to demonize the thing that they really like. And they want to find all these different gateways and I'm gonna find these different toys, or I'm gonna just have a little link up and a little sneaky link here, and people just won't just be honest with themselves. Like, I like to fuck, I like sex. You know what I mean? Like, and people look at me sideways because I'm just honest with myself. Like, I was having a conversation with a girl the other day, and she was like, "You just talk about sex like it's normal." I said, "Cause it is. It's a part of nature. That's how you got here in the first place." You know, for me, I treat sex like it's a ceremony. I treat sex like it's like one of the highest forms of communication. I don't necessarily emphasize on the sacred act and it had to be with a certain person and you got to be married and like I don't deal with all of that. I deal with sex as like a ceremony. It's a high form of communication. It's a beautiful form of interacting with somebody else. It can bring you to a state of healing. It can bring you to a state of recharging. It can bring you to a state of higher enlightenment, higher awareness. But I don't put so much emphasis where, oh, you're creating soul ties, oh, you're fornicating, or you're being drained of your energy. If you're being drained of your energy during sex, I would highly question who you're having sex with. You're not supposed to be drained during sex, even when you ejaculate. And if you don't know how to stay charged up after ejaculating and after, orgasming and all these different things, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not one of them semen retention type of Negroes. You might need to go to the next page on that one. Okay, bust them nuts. That might sound bizarre for you as well, because it's like you're supposed to keep your semen. You're supposed to keep it. No, bust them nuts. I'm not saying bust quickly. I ain't saying do all that. I'm just saying when you feel it and you about to, you know what I'm saying? Give her what she wants. Don't impregnate her, but give her what she wants. Anyways, that's another topic for another day. Moving on, let's go to question number 3. What does it mean to create your own moral compass? Now, this is also very profound because a lot of people, when it comes to creating their own spiritual lifestyle, they feel like that they have to submit to a God, they have to submit to a religion because they feel like they can't create their own moral compass. Excuse me. Lord. Um, and when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to your own morality, it doesn't mean that you have to be crazy. And I never understood that. Like, it never made sense to me on people when I tell people that morality is subjective and your whole purpose of spirituality is to be yourself and to do what benefits you. You have people who like immediately think of harming other people. Like, that's very Caucasian behavior. I I don't understand that. Like, how in your mind did you correlate that to do whatever you want, to have the freedom to coordinate your own spiritual lifestyle equated to harming other people, deceiving, manipulating, causing havoc on other people? You had Caucasians who were using the Bible to coordinate their own lifestyles and their own deviances and all these different things. I couldn't imagine what they were on and what they could have been on without the Bible. You know what I mean? So it's funny when I hear people go down that lane. It's like, I don't know if it's like you have a very premature understanding of spirituality, or like you might be a little slow. I don't know. Your purpose in you being spiritual is so that you can develop your own divinity, or rather for you to be more in alignment with your own divinity and develop your own life to be the best potential of yourself. For you to be the light of the world is so that you can connect with other people so that they can also find the light in themselves. You do what is constructive for your society and for your people, and that differs for everybody else because everybody doesn't have the same lifestyle and everybody doesn't live in the same society. But there are people who immediately think that because you don't live according to a certain God, or you don't live according to a certain religion, that automatically, because you don't submit to a God that tells you what is right and wrong, that you no longer have the ability to know right and wrong. That doesn't make any sense to me, you know. But we'll move on forward. Number 4, and for the people who are chiming on in and everything like that, I highly appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. All right. Number 4, why do we cling to suffering as a form of spiritual validation? Now, this right here, I might have to make a separate video for this because I could really go on for like about a good 10-20 minutes on this particular question. But you have a lot of spiritual people out there who feel like that they have to really hustle and grind it out, be a whole nomad out here and homeless and barely have pennies in their pocket for them to be a high developed spiritualist. They have to give up all their goods and all their money like Buddha in order for them to be um looked at in front of the world as righteous and holy. And that's just that couldn't be any farther from the truth. You could be very wealthy, and wealth has more to do with has more than to do when than just finance. But like when it comes to wealth and being wealthy, you could be wealthy and also be righteous and divine and purely aware of your society and your spiritual journey. So just understanding. But yeah, it's just like it just gets you to a point of understanding, like, you don't have to be in the rut. You don't have to be poor. You don't have to feel like you gotta struggle. You don't feel, you don't have to put yourself through struggle, because a lot of people will put themselves in, all of these different predicaments in life and feel like, oh, this is the path that I'm supposed to go down. This is my trials, my labors that I have to go through in order to be Heracles or the hero of my journey. And some of us, we do it to ourselves. We will put ourselves through this long, road of suffering, and that's you don't have to do that. I think you put too many emphasis on the stories that you've been taught, in terms of developing yourself. So yeah, that's something I'm just touching a little bit on that. You do not have to you don't have to suffer, cling to suffering, cling to this victim mentality that you are, a minority and marginalized and all these different things, and like have to, you know, co-sign the Bible to it. It's just not going to benefit you at all. Number 5, how do you stand firm when your beliefs challenges your community? Now, this is a very interesting one for somebody when it comes to a change of beliefs, you know, because when you give up Jesus, when you give up Christianity, a lot of black people are going to look at you strange. Oddly enough, I was called a sellout by a black person, an elderly black person. He said I was a sellout because I gave up Jesus Christ. That's really the state of mind of a lot of black people, is that they are going to look at you like you are very odd, like you the black sheep, you the odd one in the family. And you have to be prepared for that, and a lot of people don't know how to stand firm and grounded in their belief system when you have a lot of people around you who are of a different faith. And you would think, as people who are supposedly followers of Christ, that they would still be accepting of you and still love you and cherish you. But no, they will be the most despicable people, the most conceited, so condescending towards you, so they would just despise you and cast all this hate and condemnation and shame on you, and try to, go put you through this guilt trip. Like, how dare you question the belief system that we have been following for generations? How dare you question the God that we were given? You know what I mean? It's and a lot of people to this day are in a shell. They are in their cocoon. They are in their little hole, and they are hiding, and they have to hide and suppress themselves to the fullest of extent from their family and from their friends and from their community, because the people around them can't even take in that level of information. So they suppress their own awareness, they suppress their own enlightenment, their own spiritual journey because of that. And there has to come to a point in your life where you have to be that shining star. There has to come to a point in life where you can't budge anymore. You know, there has to come to a point in life where you're no longer going to be, phased by what people say about you, about what mama and daddy are going to say about you. Where even if, certain things may not be going your way in life, they're going to give you these little, petty remarks. So that's why you didn't get that, and that's why you didn't do this, and that's why this didn't go your way, because you over here, turning your back on God. That's the devil. The devil be doing this. And I know you don't want to hear it. And I know it's upsetting to hear. It's frustrating to hear, because you feel like you're not being heard, you're not being understood, you're being gaslighted 24/7. You're trying to tell them your experience, but they're trying to push back on your experiences and the knowledge and information you've been given, and the understanding and awareness that you've been given, and they're trying to push back on that with the Bible and all these religious, excuses, all the BS that they try to feed you. and you're trying to, you know, speak to them casually with respect, and they're not respecting you. So it's just even more frustrating. People will start to cut you off. You don't want to ruin relationships with family members, with friends, you know? So it gets to a point where like you're scared. You know, you're scared to be a rebel. You're scared to be the adversary. You're scared to stand out from the crowd, stand out from your family. But it has to come to a point in life where you just can't suppress yourself for them, because it gets to a point to where you start to suppress your own happiness. You start to suppress your own love for yourself. You start to suppress who you truly can be in life. And you have to ask yourself, are you going to continue to suppress yourself for people who are going to stay complacent? Because what's it to them? What does it mean for them to no longer, like respect you because you see God differently? If those people can't respect you because you just choose to look at God differently, that's their prerogative. Now, I understand that everybody lives in different living conditions. Everybody lives differently. Everybody has different levels of family members who will take it up to the highest of notch, right? Like in this house, we serve the Lord. If you ain't gonna serve the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Like you might have a father and mother like that. So the thing is, I would say play it smart. So I'm not telling you to just go to your parents, in the living room and be like, I don't believe in God no more. Like don't ruin the night don't ruin the night with that. But what I will say is that be very cautious of your spiritual journey. Be very aware and giving yourself some type of leeway, different outlets for you to truly express yourself. Just slowly develop and build up your wings to truly become yourself. And not everybody has the leverage and the advantage to do that, but just find different ways to do that. you know Play it smart, play it safe, and really it's just about you. You have to prioritize yourself and your self-care and your mental health, you know to truly develop into who you want to be. Number 6, am I seeking understanding or validation? Now, this is partly what I was talking about before, about how you would try to explain your background and your belief system to other people and they're not hearing you. And this is another great question that I would just have to put into a separate video. I would have to put this into a separate video because that is also a very profound question for a lot of people deconstructing from Christianity. A lot of people who are fearful of constructing and casting away the Christianity is having to explain yourself. Everybody's gonna have all these different questions. Everybody's going to come at you out of the side of their neck. They are gonna come at you disrespectfully. And some of y'all don't know how to take disrespect. Some of y'all don't know how to take confrontation, you know. And when it comes to people wanting to know why you gave up Jesus, why you gave up Christianity, is it for them to understand, or are you trying to validate your non-belief? Because you have to really stop yourself when it comes to other people asking why. You don't have to give them a reason. You do know that, right? You don't have to give your parents, you don't have to give your family members, you don't have to give your best friend, you don't have to give anybody a reason why you left Christianity, why you left religion. It could just simply be, it's not for me anymore. They can yell and scream and throw a tantrum all they want. I just don't understand. You don't have to. This is my life. This is my decision that I chose, and I made a conscious and logical decision with my right mind about this. And if you can't accept that, that's your prerogative. That's just what it has to be. And a lot of people don't know what it means to do that. But a lot of people have been conditioned to go hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on telling another person about why they believe or why they don't believe, you know. And if you've been in my comment section on Instagram, like all these Christians coming out the blue talk about, why won't you debate me? You need to debate me. Why won't you debate me? You don't want to debate me because you don't want me to look, you don't want to look wrong. I don't need to debate you because I don't have anything to defend. I say that all the time. And what does that mean? It means I do not seek your validation. You are trying to debate me to make me look wrong. The thing is, I don't care if I'm right or wrong to you. You're trying to make me look foolish, but for what? At what cost? What do you get from that? We get into a debate for hours and then your ego boost skyrockets. Your head just head gets big as fuck. And at what cost? What do you benefit from debating with me? Because I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm not an atheist. So you're not going to be getting the casual or the usual debate technique or arguments from me because I have a perfect relationship with God. I have a perfect whole relationship with the divine, with the supreme consciousness. In your Bible, it says the same thing as well. I don't have to go try looking for God or asking God to come into my heart. He's been in here since birth. She's been in here since birth. The supreme essence of the universe has been present with me because I'm an extension of that. And you are too. And if you're an extension of this universe, of the supreme essence, maybe that's why your life is the way it is. And some people, maybe your life is going really well and you can accept this, but maybe you need to be a little more aware so that maybe you can expand even more. Because if you can expand your life with just that limited basis, of understanding God, imagine how much more you can go on in life with you understanding that you are a direct descendant of that. Imagine the type of power and dominion and authority that you can process in your life when you truly understand I am an extension of God. Not that I'm just God by myself. I am God because I come from God. I am God because God is within me and I am within God. That's why they wanted to stone Jesus, because Jesus was proclaiming the same thing. And Jesus told his disciples to proclaim the same thing as well. Be ye holy as your Father is holy. Be ye perfect as your Father is perfect. Be swift as doves and wise as serpents. But see, Christians don't read their Bibles. A lot of them more so cling on to religious doctrines than reading it for what it is. They don't really understand the Christ myth for what it is, and they don't truly attain Christ consciousness. They submit to what I call the Antichrist. But getting back to the basis of this topic, right? Because I'm going to be rambling all day with that one. When it comes to the basis of understanding validation, or understanding, the understanding is for people who want to truly grasp where you're coming from. And you have to make that discernment on who is trying to understand you or who's trying to, suppress you or demean you or minimize your experience and who you are and your information and your knowledge. Because like Christians will come on my platform, right? Some of them or most of them will come on my platform, disrespect me, disrespect my platform, disrespect my channel, disrespect everything that I've been working for and that I stand for, and then be like, I want a part of your time to talk with you and speak with you on a live stream. No, fuck you. You can't just disrespect me, disrespect my platform, disrespect my intelligence, disrespect my manhood, and then be like, I want your time. You are no longer, and you never was to begin with, but you definitely do not have the leeway or the availability to my time. No. If you want my time, you will have to earn my time, and more so ask and give me the amount of respect that I need and that I value in order for me to feel like, okay, I feel like you are a person that I can invite to into my space and we can have conversation. But I'm not naive enough to just add anybody to my platform, and then you're trying for me to bring somebody who is foolish on my platform. You not only make yourself look bad, you're trying to make me look bad, and you're making my platform look bad because it's like people outside looking at my platform is like, why is he wasting his time with this fool? I want people who, value their time and they want to value my time, and we spend time together talking on very profound things. I want to build with people. I want to learn more. I don't have the time to argue with you about your favorite superhero. I don't. There are different sectors and rings for that. Go on TikTok. There are plenty of other people who will spend hours and hours with you on arguing with you about Jesus. I am not one of them. I am not one of them. You will not see me unless somebody pays me handsomely, unless somebody compensate me handsomely. You will not see me go for hours and hours with somebody on their favorite superhero. That is aching, head aching. So that's that on that. Okay. Leads us to number 7. What do I gain from sharing my perspective versus arguing my point? This is a very good question. So, what do I gain from sharing my perspective versus arguing my point? You gain a whole lot from sharing your perspective because you don't have nothing to lose, right? Because at the end of the day, it is just how you see life. And people can agree, they can disagree, they can say you're wrong, they can say you're right, but at the end of the day, you're not invalid for your perspective because it is your perspective. A picture holds 1,000 words, a painting holds 1,000 words, and you can't you can't knock somebody because they look at something differently in a painting or in a picture. And that's how spirituality and that's how God is and that's how life is, that's how truth is in itself. Is that many people have different expressions, different ways of looking at truth, different ways of interpreting truth. And who are you to diminish and demean somebody else for how they see life and for how they interpret truth, how they style and fashion and technique truth? So you gain a whole lot more from bringing your perspective to light and having other people understand where you're coming from and how you see the world, rather than trying to argue your point and trying to make other people feel bad for them believing in a certain entity or for them looking at life in a different way. At least when it comes to Jesus, right? At least when it comes to God, right? And when I make content about Jesus, when I make content about Christianity, my audience is not Christians. I'm not speaking to Christians. I'm speaking to people who are deconstructing from Christianity or people who have already deconstructed and need a good reminder. So that's just that on that. Say hi to some of my people. What's good, Camille? I don't know if you're still up in here, but what's good? What's good? What's good, Joey? Miss Bianca up in the building. What's good? What's popping? We almost done though. We get into number 8. How can I protect my peace while remaining true to my message? And these are all great questions, mind you. Like, I will have to truly create like individual videos for each of these questions at this point, because these are just very profound questions. I have personal experience with each of these questions, and I'm just trying to run through these real quick just so that, these are things that you can screenshot this, you can assess these questions for yourself, write them in your journal, and come to your own conclusions and understandings of these as well. But number 8, how can I protect my peace while remaining true to my message? This just comes to an understanding of just being, firm in who you are. If you are not grounded in who you are, you will definitely be shaken by Christians and pastors and other people who will try to minister to you as you are deconstructing from Christianity or falling away from Christianity, or just, you just recently fell away from Jesus and the religious doctrines. And it becomes very, mind numbing. It becomes very frustrating and very stressful for you to pull away from the church and from religion, because you could be in an environment or in a place right now where you are forced to go to church. You are forced to submit yourself to God. You are forced to acknowledge the Bible and, Christianity and all these different things. Every single time, or every other time, every other occasion, you're always being asked about it by family. Excuse me. You're being asked about it by family members. And you have to find, like I was saying before in earlier questions, in one of the earlier questions, you have to find a way to maintain your foundation and to build your foundation. Whether it's following other people who think like you, whether it's finding other platforms like this one who think like you, and you're able to talk with me, or talk with other people who are in the community, and just have these type of talks out. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me in my DMs, and we just have like 1 to 2 hour conversations. And of course, it's not like consistent, but like just having conversations about the world and religion and God and spirituality. And it's like, I didn't know there was any other people like me, you know? And I feel like with my platform, I'm kind of unique in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody else that you're going to see with a platform like me. And that's what I made this platform strictly because of that, strictly for that, because you know what I'm saying? It's my brand. I don't want my brand to look like anybody else. I want my brand to be what it is for me. And you will never, ever find another brand that look like mine, ever. And I stand on that, and I'm proud to say that. When you see my content, that's the Omnius Rome content. Nigga got Baphomet, nigga got that satanic shit on it. You will know. You will know it's my content. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I can bring the information that I can. I can bring the smiles and the laughter on people's faces and all these different things. I'm able to have this type of influence, to help people and to be of service to other people, you know. So you just have to find a way. When it comes to question number 8, you have to find a way to build a space, a sanctuary for yourself, whether it's like a little friend group, whether it's like a little study group, whether it's you following certain people on social media, and just really just being true and sacred with yourself and doing your own personal studies. Number 9, what does winning a debate really prove? I mean, truly, what does winning a debate truly benefit? How does that truly benefit you? And we was talking about that with what was it, number 5? Um Number 5 or number 7. But yeah, I mean, like, you don't really truly benefit anything from just debating. You don't benefit anything from telling somebody else that they're wrong and you're right. So, last but not least, am I building up others or tearing them down? That right there. Y'all excuse my yawns and stuff. I do not know why I'm yawning. Hopefully within an hour I don't be going to sleep, even though I do gotta wake up early, because I go to the gym early, bro. I go to the gym at like 6 o'clock. I wake up at 4, and then I eat breakfast at 5. I wake up at 4 so that I can do my audiobooks, my stretches, my affirmations, my journaling, all these different things. 5 o'clock, I do my breakfast, and then I make my gym bag, wash my face, brush my teeth, all that stuff, and then hit the gym at 6. And then I'm out the gym at least by 8. So That's how my day starts. But last question is is the focus on building other people up, or is it tearing people down, right? Am I building others up, or am I tearing them down? And I would like to think that when it comes to the people, my audience, the people who are coming to see me, that it is to truly build them up, you know. And sometimes building up has to require tearing down blockages in the mind. So whenever I attack certain principles, whenever I attack certain ideas and figures and objects, it's not a personal attack, you know. So don't take it personal, but there are certain things that we got to clean house, we got to do a deep cleaning in order for you to truly grasp on to what I'm trying to give you, you know. And it's out of love. You know, there's no other way for me to tell you that Jesus is not coming back for your black ass than for me to tell you Jesus is not coming back for your black ass. I can't spoon feed you. You know what I mean? I can't break down the food and chew it up and then give it to you. There's just no other way to say it. You know, you just have to truly accept it for what it is. And Jesus ain't coming back because he's not real, you know, and that's just a reality that you have to accept. And mind you, like I always say, my platform is for an audience of people who want to develop their spiritual journey, their spiritual life, who truly want to become aware, who want to become the personal rebel in their own life, who want to advance spiritually and self-deify themselves in their own personal life. So that's what my platform is for. If you are a Christian, if you are a religious person and you continuously getting offended by my content, this is not the platform for you. For you as a Christian to be telling me why you keep talking about Christianity, why you keep talking about Jesus, why you keep talking about these different topics is about as like stupid as for you to go to KFC and you're like, why do y'all keep serving chicken so much? Sir, we're Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, and well, we're a chicken restaurant. We serve chicken. Yeah, but why y'all keep serving chicken though? Why can't y'all serve tacos? You see how stupid that sounds? You're going to KFC complaining to them about serving chicken. You are on a platform that deals with deconstructing Christianity, dealing with deconstructing religion, dealing with becoming your own God, becoming your own deity and entity in your own life, developing and acknowledging the power and the magic within you. I got Baphomet on my goddamn wall. And you're coming to me complaining about the content that I bring. You are in the wrong sector. Why would you go to a restaurant complaining about the food that you're continuing to eat? Just leave the restaurant, you know? So don't come on my platform complaining about the content that I continue to bring for my audience and for my platform and for my people. I can't tell you how many hatred or like self-hate, I should say, but how many hateful and negative comments that I get from Christians in my comment section and in my DMs. I'm like, wow, is this how the spirit of the Lord moves? Is this how the spirit of the Lord, the spirit of Yahweh moves? Because if it is, this is not convincing. It's not convincing at all. Matter of fact, it more so proves my point because it's very interesting that when you read the Bible, Yahweh is a very immature and tyrannical being, and yet these Christians are very possessive and petty and tyrannical and immature. I've had a Christian come on my page this morning talking about Jesus is king everywhere, even on your page. How are you going to come on my page and tell me who's king? Like, what? That's like you going to a Marvel convention. Over here, DC is king. DC is the best. It's like, bro, you're at a Marvel convention, bro. Your words hold no weight here. We'll see what Superman has to say about it. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't hold any weight. That's the equivalence of you coming to my platform and telling me Jesus is king. That's nice. Good for you. He's still not coming back. Like I don't know what you benefit from that. He's not coming back. So That's all the 10 questions that we have. I think this was a really good, like, 1 hour live stream, you know, and I think I really, why is there a thumbs down? I don't know why we're doing that. I didn't even know I could do that. I could do that on here. I didn't even know we could do that. I don't know if y'all saw the thumbs up. There was a thumbs up that just happened. I don't know. Anyways, um, but yeah, those are my 10 questions. And basically me explaining why I chose the truth over fear and dealing with letting go of Jesus. Now, if you would like to know a bit more about my presentation on how I deconstructed from Christianity, if you would like to know more about my journey in, you know, drawing away from Christianity and then finding what I am into today in terms of omniism and my spiritual journey, I do have a podcast that I will link after I end this live stream. I will link it in the description. And if you're already watching this or you're rewatching this, you can just go into the description. All right, you can go into the description and find that video. But if you just want to watch it, you want to find it as soon as I get off. I believe the video is called "From Christian to Non-Believer and Why I Gave Up God" or something like that. From Christian to Non-Believer, but it's on my channel. I believe it's one of my podcast episodes. I have a playlist on my platform. When you click on my name, you just scroll and you'll see the Omnius podcast. And when you go through that playlist, you'll see From Christian to Non-Believer, and it'll be there. So I appreciate everybody who stuck around and who came to rock with your boy. It is 9 o'clock. Oh my goodness. I even know I've been on here for a whole hour, but truly appreciate, everybody who stuck around. Hopefully the content that I gave to you and the insight that I gave to you here was of good substance for you. If you want to know more, I will be posting more, but I definitely have a whole lot of videos, a whole lot of content, even from now all the way up until like 2021. I have videos of me reacting to different things and talking about different things, even concerning these topics, all the way back in 2021 when I was back in college. So I have a whole lot of content for those of y'all who are still deconstructing, or for for those who want to still know a little bit more of my emphasis and my ideologies and concepts around the basis of these topics. So again, don't forget to hit that like button. If you didn't hit that like button, go ahead and hit that like button. Everybody have a good night and beautiful night. If you haven't ate, go ahead and get you something to eat. All right. I don't know why you haven't ate nothing to eat. Damn. Get you something to fucking eat. All right. Fill up that tummy before you go to bed. All right.